What up, Alexis? What up, Corey? Yeah, just send me an invite and I'll figure this out. How you do this? Here you go. Word. What's good, bro?
We're doing this.
Yeah,
We're,
man.
we're tapped in. Okay. Oh, you can't hear my microphone, huh?
I can hear you.
You can hear me, but do you hear reverb right now? Because if you don't hear my microphone.
Do I hear what?
Ah. Okay. All right. Don't worry. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna
Yeah,
figure it out, bro.
yeah. Yo.
Uh,
Yeah, I already know, bro. I thought about doing like OBS and all that, but I was like, man, I'm gonna keep it simple.
yeah. It feels like I'm being forced to keep it simple too, bro. It like
I feel that.
starts up for a second and then it stops.
Mm.
It's
So
cool.
good.
It
We just
was
need to
working just
start.
before, bro. I was testing everything out before we did this, bro. Nah.
I already know.
Yeah. It's all good. How you doing today, man? How you
Hey,
feel?
good, bro. We just been editing earlier. Took a little break. Went to the store. Uh, yeah, man. Just another day. How you?
I'm cool, man. It's a pretty chill day. I lost my Wi-Fi. I guess I'll take this off, dog. I lost my Wi-Fi
Yeah.
the day before because my apartment's doing construction. So they pulled one of the wires to our Wi-Fi, and I'm like, damn, is this gonna affect what we do tomorrow like this?
Yeah, yeah.
So dude had to come in super early and fix the Wi-Fi. So I'm a little cranky, but it's all good.
Word
Yeah,
up. Word. We got it fixed though.
yeah.
Word. Hey, yeah. So, yeah, man. I've been following your page for a minute. I don't even know how I found your page to begin with, but I was
Me
like, hey,
neither.
yo, son is dope. Um, yeah. So I guess tell us about a little bit about yourself.
My name is Corey McKinney Jr. I'm from New Jersey. I'm based in Los Angeles. I appreciate anybody that comes through to the chat to spend a little bit of time with us. You know, your time is valuable. I understand that. So I'm just a
Right.
grateful dude, man. I like to create whatever's in my head. And just I feel like my overall mission is to connect with people through art, but ultimately learn how to translate what's going on in here onto a screen or
Yeah.
something you could experience, on the go or just wherever you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Creative freedom, that's my passion. That's my
Yeah.
obsession.
Where I noticed that a lot of the work that you do seems to be your own voice. Do you
Yeah.
do any like freelance work, or you focus only like more so on like your own creations?
I've been saying no to a lot of things, freelance being one of them, because I feel like, I started learning or teaching myself 3D animation in 2022, which makes me so mad because the pandemic was just ending in 2022.
Right.
I wish I would have discovered Blender. That's what I use,
Yeah.
Blender, in 2020. But I'm still pretty new to this stuff. I'm 3 years in. That's not, you say that to an
Right. Right.
80-year-old. Like, what's 3 years to an 80-year-old? I'm trying to do this for
Yeah.
longevity, forever, a forever passion. So I'm still discovering my voice, although I am starting to dial in on a specific style. I
Yeah.
think that until I find that, which I'm very close to, I think by the end of the year, I'll start accepting freelance gigs and like stuff of that nature.
I got you.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah. Your style reminds me a lot of like of course Cartoon Network, but also
Hey,
like PlayStation styles.
a word?
So like
Okay.
I was looking at your run cycle,
Yeah,
and it reminds me so much of the movement in Crash Bandicoot.
love
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah. Yeah,
word up.
I love that shit.
Where do you get your inspiration as far as like style and stuff like that?
Man, there's no telling when you're gonna find the inspiration, bro. But like, let me make sure this is up all the way. Yeah, I can hear you pretty well.
Right.
Um, the things that I see, the things that are kind of intangible, almost impossible to explain, like a feeling, and then trying to, again, like learn how to translate that to the screen. So the inspiration could kind of be abstract. It could be from a conversation like this, a thought that I tell myself, "Oh, don't say that," and then I'll kind of dial in
Uh,
on that. That will
Word.
that'll
Okay.
be a feeling, and then that could be a movement. But if I'm being more precise, bro, I like simplicity because if
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a one man band, which I am, I smile because I be rhyming without wanting to. Um, green eggs and ham.
Hey yo.
Yeah,
The bars though.
yeah, something like that, bro.
Yeah.
But uh, shit, I lost my train of thought. What was I just saying?
Um, Me too, probably. I don't lost the train of thought too. uh,
Oh, simplicity.
yeah.
I feel like if I'm gonna be a one man band, I have to make sure I don't get too technical and too advanced with what I'm doing in 3D, right?
That's
People think CGI means photorealism just because that's what you see CGI being used for
okay.
most of the time. But really, it's just another medium. You can make it sloppy, you can make it precise, you can make it your own.
I see.
So that run cycle is a lot more precise than I would plan to do a show or something like that. The
Okay.
run cycles would probably be a lot more simple if I had my say. I just wanted to show myself that I could do it if I put in the
I see.
hours, you know? Yeah.
Right. I look at some of the work that some of the other teams are doing.
Yeah.
Like even like Dreamville Fest, I like what they do, like their videos and whatnot. Um, but I
For
was like,
real.
bro, y'all got like 15 guys in y'all's credits, bro. Like if I did this myself, it would take me so
Exactly.
long.
Exactly. Nah,
Yeah.
you just said a key point right there, bro. Like you're talking about people with 15, 20, 100, 1,000 people working on the same thing,
Yeah.
right? It's like, okay, so then now we're talking about cutting corners. When you hear that, that sounds like low quality. But what I would suggest people to think for themselves when we talk about quality, this is how I feel about quality, right? It's like, okay, so you're making something, right? You're cutting corners, okay? But what are you making it for? Why are you even making this piece of art? Right? And the answer behind that, I feel like that's what quality means to me, right? Maybe
Right.
the animation is kind of like, maybe the
Yeah.
textures are kind of janky, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, what are you even trying to say? Why are you even doing it? If the answer is like because I need to, this is high
Right.
quality content.
Absolutely. The way
Yeah,
it's rendered can develop over time. You know, you can render it differently if you want to. But the most important thing I always tell people is to get the idea out there. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Uh, the story, like I said, the story, the concept, the feeling that you're describing, that's what's gonna carry it. That's what we really care about. Like all the way that you do it, I appreciate it.
yeah,
But yeah, we're gonna remember the story at the end of the day.
yeah. The story, just like how to make you feel. Do you want
Hey,
to come
hey,
back
yo!
again?
Speaking of which, I see you be cooking music too.
Dude, man, I might end up being like the king of side quests, man. I just end up in places where I've thought about it once before, but now it's a reality. And it's like, damn, I kind of wanted to do this years ago, but now it's happening years later. All right, I'm not going to complain. This is something I thought of. This is cool. I'm enjoying it. And what you're talking about, shout out to Stealth. This artist, I freestyled with this artist one day, and he kept telling me, like, yo, I'm going to get you on a track, Corey. Like, that's what's going to happen. I'm like, stop. I'm not a rapper, bro. Like, I'm not that. I just like freestyling. It's fun,
Yeah,
you know? But he wasn't playing with me. He really was like, nah, like, this is the instrumental. You should write something to it. I said no. Again, twice. The third time, I'm like, you know what, bro? All right. let me try. Let me just try. You
Yeah.
know, and I did, and now it's being mixed by professionals as we speak.
Gang.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy, bro.
bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yo,
crazy.
like I had such a huge imposter syndrome when it came to music. Like I would be in the studios and I would be like, yo, you need to word it like this because your rhyme scheme's landing like this, so switch it up or whatever. You know, I have the input, but do it myself, man, I'm not one of them. You know,
Yeah.
but I just
Yeah.
be finding myself in spaces where eventually you have no choice but to be yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And be like, hey,
Yes.
yo, here's how I'm feeling about this. And next thing you know, you're making music, you know?
Yeah. And music's such a beautiful thing, man. And also, in the age of 2025, right, we have all these tools at our disposal. You know
Yeah.
damn well you want to make your own music. Everybody wants to make their own something, whether you're a
Yeah.
garbage man, a lawyer. Being creative is instilled inside of you through birth.
Right.
Creativity is not always about art. You know, you moving your furniture around to create some type of feng shui
Yeah.
is creativity.
Fact.
So the fact that we all possess creativity, I think it'd be a fair statement to say most people, if not all, would like to be able to create something from nothing. And music is a
Absolutely.
medium where you could do that with almost just nothing but a microphone. So
Yeah, fact.
at this state and age, like, why would you not just like try it out? You know?
Bro, I was looking at your breakdown for how you made that Meow Meow
Ha
song, yo.
ha. Yeah. Yeah. I got the machine
Yo.
right here. Yeah.
Yes, bro.
That was fun.
That shit is so fire, bro.
I did that. I did that on live. Yeah,
Oh, word.
that was on live. Yeah, yeah.
For how long have you been, like, in creation?
Well, with beats was before. That's what was taking my focus away from Blender during the pandemic. When the pandemic happened, I was focused on wrapping up the last final touch-ups on this film that I made specifically for Instagram called Because. We might get into that later.
Okay.
But when I was done, I'm like, damn, this pandemic still happening. I'm like, well, okay, there's so many different things I could do. I'm getting all this free time, all of this money. This is kind of a dream.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I want to make my own films. I should learn how to make my own soundscapes. I could do that by learning how to make my own beats. So I started messing with this software called Machine,
Okay.
and I love it because, right, and I'm not sponsored or nothing like that, but you know, they should
Yeah.
really think about it eventually. This is physical, so it's hardware meets software, right? And
Yeah.
I need to be able to like touch something sometimes to
Right.
be able to get into it, right? And this allows me to kind of like bounce ideas in real time, and then I could kind of get modular and arrange them later, you know, add effects and just kind of like do what you do post
Right.
processing after the fact. But that was like in
Gotcha.
2021. So to answer your question, 2021.
Word up. Word. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you start with? Like as far
Well,
as your discipline?
so I started with acting. I still want
Oh.
to act. I still love acting, but I'm not in love with acting.
Yeah.
And it took me a plane ticket to LA, thousands of dollars in rent, right? A 9-month conservatory for me to figure out, you know what, bro, like telling other people's stories or helping tell other people's stories is lit. I love it. They're happy. I'm happy. But I have so many stories to tell, and all of them aren't potent. Some of them are just like when you wake up with a dream and you're trying to tell somebody and you realize you've been talking for too long. They don't understand your dream. So, you know, what would it look like if you try to make that into something that they could watch or hear or something like that, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, acting was the initial stepping stone.
Word. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you end up falling into like animation and the multimedia?
You know what? I'm gonna say this right now. I'm being punctual with you because that's my brain most of the time. And if I'm gonna do these interviews, I have to make sure I come correct and I have a clean train of thought, right?
I respect it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about what led from acting to this. So with acting, being in other people's movies, that's great. You know, a couple festivals here, ego stroke, that feels great, but I want something more. I have my camera right over there. This is the first professional camera I bought. Right, it's right over there. It's a
Or
Lumix GH5. I saved
EH5.
up so much for it. Yes, bro. Yes, I know you understand. When that first came out, I got it in 2017. So I got it as soon as it came out, and I
The
was
hype was
so
up.
hyped about it, yo. And you know what? It's a micro four thirds camera. I was gonna get myself a full frame, but you talking about discipline. I'm like, if I can't make micro four thirds look beautiful, I don't deserve a full frame. That's kind of how I do everything with my art. Like it's like I start with the hardest, like on hard mode. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a thing.
Bro, yeah, like, you know, when people ask me, like, what kind of camera I should buy, this, and that, I'm like, bro, you really need to start with something that's cheaper
Yeah.
because the additional stuff that you have to learn to understand the value of those bigger
Yes.
cameras, you don't want to dive into that.
Nah. If you really got it like that, go ahead.
Right.
But like I did not. So I got one of those, and I was gonna move into my truck. Right. I'm talking about because again, I'm like I'm spending all this money to live in this 223 square foot studio apartment in NoHo. You know, this is cool, but man, it's like I don't need this. So I'm gonna pack everything up, turn my truck into an RV, right? I had a little
Right.
pull-out stove. I had a bed in there, a flat top. Underneath it, some storage, a fridge, a freezer, a deep cycle battery. So the longer you drive, it charges the battery while it's off.
Oh,
The
wow.
car is off and everything like that. So I'm like, you know what? I was doing all of this when I was 23 and I got off social media. So some of my friends couldn't get in contact with me because if you didn't have my number, you didn't know where I was at.
Right.
Some people thought I died.
Damn.
I just left for 3 years. 3 years. I'm like, if I'm gonna come back as a homeless person, like a digital nomad, really, not like actually homeless. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I could really rep that because it's like I'm in LA, bro. I see homelessness all the time, and it's like, nah. I don't know. I would feel like a poser saying I was homeless. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I did it on purpose, and yeah, I had a mission when I was doing it. So I was like, okay, well, damn, I'm gonna come back. People are gonna be like, you were in an apartment, you were an actor, now you're living in a truck. The fuck? So I'm like, I should probably use this opportunity to practice making a film, talking about how I got to this point. I'm not ready for Sundance. I don't even know what ISO and aperture means. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna use this chance to practice telling stories with like a camera and scripts, and I'm gonna make it just for Instagram because that's what I want to update, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when I was doing that, I realized, yo, camera equipment is expensive as hell. I wish I could pay these actors that I'm bringing into my movie more money. I want to do so much more, but filmmaking is like a subtractive art form, right? You take the world that you're in and you kind of take away from what you have in order to put what you need on screen, right? Where I needed something that was the opposite, an additional, an additive art form, which is animation. But I didn't know I could do that yet because I don't like to draw. You do that. You do that. You draw, you paint. That's what you do naturally. That's your gift. Yeah. One of many, right?
Yeah,
so it's like, I'm not a lazy dude, bro. Like I'll teach myself anything, but it's like drawing is like I don't have it in me, and you just have to know that about yourself sometimes.
For sure.
It's like I'm not gonna do that, but I didn't know you could do 3D. So long story short-ish, after I wrapped up, because I'm like, damn, how could I acting's cool, made this movie. How could I just do this on my own without bothering people and not paying them? Oh, what's this Blender thing that everybody talking about? Oh, wait, it's on your computer, your laptop. Oh, wait, you just made that? Oh, you just won a Sundance film with what you made on your laptop, bro? From school? You taught yourself? That's real? That's real life? I could do that? I thought CGI was this impossible thing that, like, you needed to be rich or you needed to know a person to get the, like, cracked software on your computer. I had
Mm-hmm.
no idea we were like that much into the future.
Right.
You know, because that's what
Right.
I miss about DVDs. The BTS, and they'll show everything behind the scenes.
What?
Dog,
Yeah.
yo, and they show all the gray model.
The
I didn't know what that
what you
was.
call it? The
Yeah,
motion.
the
Uh,
motion cap, the mocap,
yeah.
all that. I'm like, that's a whole nother. Now it's here. So I'm
Right.
like, you know what, man? This is what I've been wanting my whole life. I could just make a movie in my room. I'm a foolish man if I don't cut off the next 4 years of my life, this being the fourth, and just dedicate all of my time to learning this craft. So I could learn again how to translate what's in here to what's on screen, so you can see close to what I see.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Hey, man.
yes,
Salute
yes.
to the
Thank you.
process, man.
Thank you, man. Thank
Yeah.
you. But just so I could reiterate, to summarize, I went from acting to making my own films live action to 3D animation, where I like to split live action and other mediums into
Yeah.
animation.
Absolutely. Do you
Yeah.
feel like your experience with live action and filmmaking helped you when it came to animation?
Absolutely, bro. Because it's like, well, yeah, because it pushed me to do it. And, you know, when you open up a 3D software, you don't know what you're looking at. But once you start understanding what you are seeing, you realize this is a digital set of whatever the F, anything. The camera isn't on a tripod, it's in space floating. You tell it where to go, you tell it what to hook onto, you tell the computer everything. And I want people to know that too. CGI, bro, people think because the computer's involved is like easy, or like the computer does all the work. In a, in a sense, you're right. We are very much in the future now, but you have to tell the computer everything you need it to do, mamas. Okay? Everything. The computer doesn't know. It doesn't understand.
Right.
So learning how to speak and again translate, communicate what you need takes time.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that because I work in different disciplines,
Yes.
I'm able to pick up on the vocabulary that I
Yeah.
need when I do another discipline. So like animation was something that, yo, dead ass, I was like, bro, of all the things I know how to do, that's one thing y'all could keep. I was like, hey, bro, listen, I ain't got time.
You have to know that about yourself. Yes. Yeah.
Yo, as I've been doing in my videos and whatnot, though, I was using my graphic design background, so now I'm editing frame by frame, and I'm like, at this point, I'm spending the same amount of time as you guys.
Yeah.
I might as well figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I dabble just a little bit, but
See it.
I realized I just want to know
Yeah.
enough to be able to get my idea out there. Like my own stuff. Eventually I'll get somebody who's dedicated their life to being really good at that and be like, hey, let's work together in this project. You know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I noticed like just with a lot of the work that you do, the way you do like your camera selection, and even the video that I shared, how you went from the bed and then you went to the door, then you pan back out. Now we're giving an overview shot.
Yeah.
You got to know a little bit about storytelling,
Yeah.
to
It's
put that
true.
together.
Yeah, that's true. And my shout out to Giselle, my girlfriend, man. She does this stuff too. So thank God, because if I was dating somebody that wasn't in this realm, I'd be a single man, yo. Because she understands when I'm on the computer all day. She on the computer all day too. So I'm blessed, bro. I am so blessed, and I have to say it out loud, so people aren't afraid to say those kind of things. Cause like I don't know, these are like different times. It's weird. I got to be saying amen out loud. People be tripping, but
Yeah.
yeah, nah. She because of that, I'm allowed. I'm just able to really just geek out and learn about all this stuff and like build on what I've learned prior, like learning how to tell a story.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, I admire the fact that y'all share the same discipline.
Dog.
Like, having someone who's an artist, that's the dream in
Yeah.
itself. But y'all have
Yeah.
the same discipline. Like she does 3D and you do 3D.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to figure out a rig, she knows the answer, or vice versa,
Yeah. And she
Bruh.
started with painting, so I was showing her your live painting stuff. Yo, kudos to you, man. I've never seen that in my life.
Man, I am honored. I appreciate
For
that
real.
for real.
But like, nah, it's like the way you do it though. Like Bob Ross is amazing. That's the only thing I've ever seen was like someone painting live. But this is a new age, and you have like the African drums behind you, people like dancing and stuff like that while you're painting. That's like that's just real demigod stuff to me.
Man, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
It goes back to the first thing that you said, something that you just kind of always wanted to do, and then now here we are.
yeah,
Dead ass. Like
word.
middle school me was like, I really want to try graffiti, man, but I'm so scared of getting in trouble.
Yeah,
So
valid.
now, I'm just creating those opportunities, so that's the difference.
Yeah, this wasn't really available when I was in high school. I was always curious. When it was time to go to college, I look up, oh, can I learn how to make a video
Yeah.
game? Oh, you got to learn how to code? Never mind. Animation. Oh, you got to know how to draw? Never
Yeah.
mind. Everything was a never mind. So I ended up doing criminal justice because I want to get the bad guys, bro. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I
Yeah.
don't care if you're smoking weed in your car. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's like that's what I probably end up doing as a cop until I get shot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn. I was just stuck in the system in that sense. Like as soon as you get out of high school, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? You have to understand. You have to know, and you have to tell me right now because the applications are going, and you have to do it today. Today, the due date's yesterday. It's like, fuck. I guess a cop. I guess you end up doing that. I got my associates. I've never used it, but it's okay. It taught me discipline. I met my girlfriend there,
Oh,
so
word.
she's from Jersey
Okay.
too. So it's like there was some positivity that came from it. But if there's anybody in here who has dealt with going to college, being told, "Oh, you're going to be able to get a great job and have a great life after that," and you kind of know what I'm talking about when you're like, "I never used my degree." You're not alone. You're not alone. And the world is changing like that again right now with AI.
Hmm.
It's like you have to just be adaptive to what the world throws at you. Because the world is changing and metamorphing almost like every 5 years, it seems.
Yeah.
You know?
You got on the money every five
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
You know?
I feel like it's all about just learning how to just be your authentic self. And so whatever space or whatever tools you have around, you'll find a way to make your voice be heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So was that what kind of drove your move to LA, the acting career at the time?
There's a few things, bro. To keep it light, really light. Um, uh, Kind of like my ticket to getting a job within criminal justice, right? That human being, rest his soul, he committed suicide, right? And I saw the whole shit. And it's like, okay, this is the first time understanding or connecting the dots between life could be gone in the blink of an eye. You hear it when you see it. It's just engraved in your cerebellum. So I'm like, whoa, I don't even want to do this shit. This was my ticket to the shit I didn't even want to do. Now it's gone. Bro, I'm about to just do everything and anything I've ever thought I've wanted to do and told myself that I was like not smart enough or not capable enough to do. Like I didn't like say it out loud, but I think like instinctually I made a promise to myself to never go back to trying to like fit in, you know,
Or
and just do everything I've ever thought I wanted to do.
it takes a lot of courage to do that, man.
You know,
Like,
you know what? Thank you, but I don't think so, man. You know why? Because I feel like if I didn't see that, if that didn't happen, I don't know, man. I might be a cop. I might have been a cop.
hey, there's a lot of cops who want to be animators.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting idea. That's actually a really interesting idea. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like everybody would like to do something else. Yeah, I don't know. There's some people that are really happy, with what they got, what they're doing, and that's where I'm trying to get to. I'm not there yet.
For
You know.
sure. So, what's your big picture moment? Like, what are you trying to create for yourself as far as like your passion?
Big pictures, just
Yeah,
being able to make a big picture by myself, and then being able to like, bring people along because not because I need them to create their vision, because I want them in my vision, right?
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that creative freedom again, that's my obsession. That's really important to me. I don't want to have to go through loops and all these different hurdles in order to get to say hello, right?
mm-hmm.
I want to learn and be able to say hello, hi, como esta, whatever language I decide. And then if I want someone to come in and translate that shit in Japanese, it's like that's what's gonna happen, But to
Right,
be
right,
less abstract about your question, being able to make movies, short films, help people make their short films and movies, and make them interactive one day. I feel like
mm.
game development, that shit's pretty tight, bro. And it's like
Yeah,
that's another thing that like was not available when I was like looking up what to do in college, and now it is. So I don't know.
yeah, bro.
We'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
essentially, it's just I guess, the technical side to the art, because the way that you animate your style. If I don't know much about coding, but I know there's a button they push that triggers an animation, So a lot of that equals a video game somehow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
coding is a whole mystery to me.
yeah,
It always has been. But I feel like for the next 6 months, I'm gonna start learning programming within animation, and just that's how I feel like I'm gonna wrap up the senior year of YouTube University. You know,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, because I'm in my senior year, man. People say, "Oh, I'm going to school," and it's like that's great. That's actually great. I'm not saying that sarcastically,
Right.
but I already went to school and spent all my money. You feel me? So now I
Yeah.
have to teach myself, be my own professor, make my own syllabus, and treat it like school.
So
So after
you
this,
dead ass make a syllabus and you like
yo,
you
yeah,
like keep track.
I have my notebook right here. I have
Yeah.
roadmaps over here, notes for my Disney course over here. It's a whole
Let's go,
bunch of stuff in here, man. But
man.
it's like, yeah, I have to be that way though. This shit
Yeah.
is scary. This shit is really terrifying, bro. Chasing your dreams is the scariest thing you could do with your life. You know why though?
What's up?
You know why? Because if you actually get that dream, it's the most rewarding. So it has to be the scariest thing you could do because it's the most rewarding thing you could do with your life. Next to having a normal, healthy child, right?
Right, right, right,
I would
right.
imagine. I don't have any kids, but I'm working really hard so they can have a dad to be proud of.
Word up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what's
yes,
up. Working
yes.
on something bigger than yourself. Longevity.
Oh, definitely, bro. Definitely. Do you have any kids?
Nah, not right now. I feel
You,
like
you don't want any kids?
I want children. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's like I would love to be able to get past certain not certain milestones,
Yeah.
so that I can be better prepared when I do start a family. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it really is. Like I really want to start moving in different places and exploring like LA, Atlanta, different states, whatnot. But there's a lot of things that I want to do, but I want to make sure that I move efficiently, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's important when it comes to preparing myself to build a family.
That efficiently bar is that rings bells for me, man. I just started telling myself I'm not allowed to learn that right now. I'm not allowed. No, you have enough on your plate,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And I feel like that's another scary thing about being in this day and age, with everything kind of being possible. You have to
Mm-hmm.
learn, or I'm not gonna preach, but for me, I had to learn when to tell myself that's enough. You know what I'm saying? Like you're actually doing too much, and you don't have traction in the direction that you were going prior to this new endeavor. So you
Right.
should
Right. Right.
probably relax. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's why I
specialized.
didn't learn Blender yet.
Yeah, but I love that answer, bro. Or yeah, because you can, and I could give
Yeah.
you all the courses to put you ahead of me.
Yo, hey, send me the facts.
Yeah,
Send
yeah.
me, yeah, for sure.
ChatGPT can help too. ChatGPT helps me like figure out what I'm missing sometimes.
Mm,
You
mm,
know,
word.
I'll send it the
Yeah.
blend file. I'm like, why is it frozen? And be like, because of this button. I'm like, a button? Damn. All right, thanks, chat.
Hey, yo, word. That's the big homie. Chat the big homie,
Yeah.
dog.
No, I am definitely a uh a pro AI person. But
Yeah.
let me say this, yo. There's a lot of unethical use cases of AI
Mhm.
that I'm not
Right.
gonna defend. It's bittersweet, you
Right.
know. It's but it's here. And how silly would I look right now if I was like, "Hey, yo, fuck the internet, B." Yo, the internet, nah, da, da, da. Like, yo, the internet's been here for a long time, and it's gonna be here still, probably when I'm gone.
Yeah.
You know, some other form of the internet. And when the internet first came, people had their jobs, people had their businesses, and everything was nice and stable. Internet came and did this to everybody's shit. People didn't like that. People don't like change, and of course, we're comfort-seeking creatures.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's the pattern I'm seeing with AI. It's disrupting a lot of industries. It's stealing people's art. Trash, trash. That shit's ass. That shit's ass. I'm not gonna defend it. There's
Right.
an interview coming out of me talking about this specific topic, so I won't go off on
Yeah.
a huge tangent on it. But even in there, I'm like, I'm not gonna defend that. But what I will say is that it allows people who never had any type of voice to have one, and I can't be mad at that. And that's what the
Yeah.
internet did too.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I think just accepting change and understanding that there's going to be continue to be more branches that are going to pull out. You know, because like when I was in like middle school, high school, digital art was like people wasn't fucking with digital art, and then digital art became like a huge wave with like all the other things that were going into like the NFTs and stuff like that. So they got their shine,
yeah,
and I feel like AI, it starts off, eventually it got to grow, it got to develop, but eventually that's just going to be another tool in our
yeah,
toolbox. We can
yeah,
tell when you rely too much on it.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad that we got to get, our traditional senses first. You know,
Right.
like this new generation is gonna come and just think making things with AI is normal. That's gonna be my like old person debate. Like, y'all don't know what we have to do. And it's like I always used to look at the older people, be like, why are they so angry? I'm starting to see what they were talking about. The world changes, and
Yeah.
you're trying to get them to understand. They're trying to get you to understand. Both of y'all don't want to listen, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's the wild wild west right now for sure with
Yeah.
AI.
That's why being an artist is so important. You know,
Yeah,
like we regulate all this.
yeah.
We make it
Nah,
make sense.
it's different from being a gatekeeper. What you said, I like that regulator.
Yeah.
You know, some type of guidance.
Yeah. That's why I love comedy. You know,
Who's your
like
favorite comic right
uh,
now?
all
Not of all time, but
right,
right now.
so right now I would say Ryan Davis.
Okay.
Um,
Ryan Davis.
yeah, he's like he's mainstream, but not necessarily like big three mainstream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I really like him. But as far as like the bigger, I'll probably say I really love Dave Chappelle's
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah.
Um, it's just impeccable. But I love Cat Williams' delivery.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I used
Yeah.
to be able to do his voice good, but not anymore. Yeah, still love Cat Williams.
What about yourself?
Right now, Josh Johnson is at the top of the list for
Okay.
me. I was watching him throughout the pandemic, and now he has this massive following, and he deserves it. Um, I'm still a big fan of Louis C.K. Um, I just love how he observes the world and how he's able to articulate it in a way that's not only understandable but hilarious, right? It's just I just love how he just sees the world, and I like everything in threes. So if I'm naming a third person,
Yeah.
he hasn't done anything in a while, but I really appreciated Hannibal Buress when he was hot. You know what I mean?
Okay. Hannibal Birds.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna look these guys up.
Oh, oh, everybody I just said you don't know?
Yeah, I didn't know any of those guys.
Okay, I could send you shit. I could send you something.
Oh, word,
Yeah,
IG.
I got you. Yeah,
Word.
that stuff helps me go to sleep. You know?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's my bad habit. That's my bad habit. I go to sleep with like one headphone. I'm like either a podcast, a tutorial, or a comedy special, and I
Okay.
just go to sleep like that. Yeah, just
Yeah.
pick up
Yeah.
like that. It's a bad habit, yo. Don't be like me.
So, what are like? I guess I understand the comedy joint. Are there any other shows or whatnot that you like are into right now?
Well, forever show is the Boondocks. Um,
Dang.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But right now, uh, trying not to watch so much right now anymore.
Yeah.
But I was excited when Black Mirror came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited when Love, Death, and Robots came out. It was okay. A lot of people say it's a terrible volume, but like I just think it was okay. They set the bar really high for themselves, so that's why people say what they're saying right now. Mm, I'm really just into like the independent animators stuff, like on YouTube, like internet animators, just like the stuff that you find that the YouTube algorithm would just show you and randomly, and you go to their page and there's just so much there. You just have like your own little world to dive in.
Okay. What names come to mind?
Yoon is one. She's really dope. I just went to one of her shows and she's working on some live action stuff, which is cool to see from an animator. Jaron Braxton is an animator that showed me that Blender was even a thing, right? Like I didn't know what Blender was or 3D animation in an independent setting looked like until I saw his work on Hulu. So the way I am, bro, it's like if I'm a fan of somebody, I'm gonna let it be known because I like to treat people the way I want to be treated. And it's like people, I don't know, but like that dude kind of put me on without like actually putting me on. You know what I'm saying?
I see.
So yeah, Jaron Braxton's fucking awesome. I said View, and again with threes, I just do one more. It's crazy because it's when we hang up, I'm gonna be like, I should have listed all of these different people.
Yeah.
No, it has to be a good one, and then you have to think of an animated show you're really into right now.
Right.
Oh my god. Common Side Effects was amazing. On Adult Swim.
Is that what Giselle's mentioning? Side effects from Adult?
Oh yeah, yeah. Common Side Effects. Yeah, Common Side Effects on Adult Swim was so well done, man. They're touching on some real topics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Word. There you go.
Yeah, my dad was saying I might have been oversharing earlier. Yo, that's kind of my style, man. Earlier when I was saying I'm gonna try to be more punctual, that's another thing I try not to do. Like, just because I will, and I don't know,
bro.
Okay.
I relate. Like, I just feel like we just overshare enough until we realize that we have like departments that we pull from that when we overshare.
Yeah, man.
And like eventually it makes sense. Me for animators, I think that the social media made it so that I remember the content before I remember the creator.
We have to talk about that later. Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I'll we'll have to. I'm gonna have to circle back to the names because I'm thinking about their styles before I can even tell you who they are.
For
Yo,
sure.
I do like
For sure.
uh he used to go by Final Cut King, Zach King.
Oh yeah. Zach King is great.
Yeah,
He's a
he's
wizard.
the GOAT.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, uh, animation shows. Very interesting. I just started watching stuff again. As I've been developing my career, I was more focused on learning like the history, the techniques, the industry, and so now I'm taking my time to go through the Netflixes and the Hulus and stuff. So I've been looking at some old animes
Dang.
and like Hajime no Ippo is an anime I've been
Oh,
watching that I really appreciate, not just the animation, but a lot of like the real world stuff that they put into it.
okay.
Because for me, I really enjoy when the animator is the writer and creator. So like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
they're writing from a real place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can really appreciate that.
I could appreciate that too. When I was in high school, my favorite type of musicians were the ones that made their own beats, engineered their own voice, and wrote their own lyrics. I'm like, damn, I don't see that in the filmmaking world. That's not really like a thing.
Right.
And that's another reason why Blender was such a punch to the face, because you actually can reach that point where you could make something all on your own if you really want to. Those were my favorite type of people, the multi-potentialites that make it all one thing.
Right. I think it's so funny because when you think about like movies and large scale productions, like if you take one of those guys off the team
Yeah.
and like put him head to head against an independent creator,
Yeah.
it's not going to weigh the same.
No.
It's very very interesting because like when they come together for their teams, the team does something really nice.
Yeah.
But each individual guy only really knows their position.
Yeah. Which there's a place for that in the studio.
Yeah.
Working for whoever you're working for.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But there's the other side, and I keep gravitating to that side every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me see. Is that and I was gonna say about large scale productions. See, I be all over the place too, bro.
Nah, you're straight, man.
Yeah.
You were talking about anime earlier.
Yeah.
I feel like, all right, were you always into anime?
Before I knew I was,
Before you knew you were?
Yeah. So in like middle school, I was watching like all the Naruto's. I've always loved the Boondocks. That was just black people our
That's a
closest
hot
thing to
take.
anime.
Yeah.
They
don't consider it anime.
It's crazy.
The super anime fans don't, at least,
because they feel like it has to come from a authentically Japanese source.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but like you have white country singers,
Yeah.
If we talk about where it came from, it came from black country singers.
Uh-huh.
But everyone can make country.
Yes.
Like yeah, but I get it.
It's like a gatekeeping thing, huh?
As when you get really, really, really deep into the niche, you need more to validate why you're so deep in the niche. So you can't, like that's how they have like the gatekeepings and you don't know anime because you still talking about My Hero. We're talking about the underground animes, and it's like, bro, just chill, bro. Like we all like it.
Yeah. It's like, okay, but do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, all right, so let's talk about it. Why are you trying to shut on me with all the different anime knowledge you have? Like, talking about cartoons. Yeah. I'm not an anime nerd like that. Dragon Ball Z, when it was on, rest in peace as well.
Yeah.
The Boondocks. Yeah. But I can't really get into the anime shows for some reason, bro. It's like, it's so many seasons. And it's like, all right, but I love this style. So I kind of turn to anime movies, like Paprika.
Okay.
Or like Mind Game. some of
Okay.
Studio Ghibli stuff.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just like
yeah.
it's just like a movie I could be in and out, and like I experienced it and I feel good about it. I don't have
Right.
to like keep watching it every day until I find out like the story is like it's gonna drive me crazy. It's gonna drive me crazy. Yes,
Yo,
a
yo,
lot.
y'all cool for this shit, bro. Like, give me a story.
That's another topic.
Yeah, but no, like for instance, like I've been writing like my own like kind of plot for my character in like an anime kind of like style,
You talking
and
about Kai?
yeah,
Kai.
yeah, yeah. So like, so Kai is like my Goku, you know, that's Kai right there, and then uh Rose would be like my Vegeta, you
Oh,
know,
that's tight.
yeah.
Rose.
So like, and then yeah, so I'm building the world in the background. And I just do the art to kind of represent what I'm working on, because you know I know the writing's gonna take a minute. So I was like, all right, I'll put the art out there. So when I'm ready to put the comic out, put the show out, people will be kind of familiar with it. But
I love
ultimately,
that.
I want to combine live action with the animation, like on some like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the direction I want to take it.
Yeah, I love Who Framed Roger. Cool World, stuff like
Yeah,
that. Let me
yeah,
ask you, man. So you have Kai, you have Rose, and I'm sure you have others, right?
yeah, yeah.
When you get the show is locked in, you have it storyboarded. Maybe you don't, but you're ready to make it.
Mhm.
Is Daniel Green gonna make a separate page for these animated shows, or is it all gonna be under Daniel Green? And once you give me your answer, please elaborate and tell me why.
Yeah. Whereas
Yes.
I do have another page where I post like the Kai stuff,
Okay.
and that's under Return of the Flower. So like,
Return of the Flower.
yeah,
Got you.
um,
Like underscores for the spaces.
nah, just straight up,
One word.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I still share on my Art of Danny Green page because this is where the people at. But I just use other accounts as file cabinets. So
Mm,
you know,
okay.
so the shows and whatnot is going to be under the Return of the Flower, but like Art of Danny Green would be like the network that produced the original. You know,
Yeah.
like a
Yes.
Netflix original series. You know what I'm saying? So Netflix might promote those shows amongst the other things that Netflix is putting out. So that's kind of how I'm doing that.
Okay. All right. Is it kind of hard to juggle all of that? And do you ever wish that you could just do it all on one page? Or do you feel like since you have
Um,
so much to offer or just already established a certain framework on your page, if you do another thing, it'd be too bloated?
yeah, so I think I'm challenged with that all the
Yeah.
time, and
That's why I'm bringing it up. Me too.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, I know how people go. So like, all right, so my studying of the art discipline started with studying graffiti back in middle school. From the history of it to the art styles, the fonts, the 3Ds, and all of that. But that was also my first time learning marketing before I knew I was learning marketing. Because in graffiti, it's all about, like, you know, being seen in a high traffic area or in a significant something, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So all of that made sense when it came to marketing. Cool. At that time I was into graphic design, logos, all of that, and I considered everything the same. Like a logo is art to me, but a logo is branding to them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, if I just take my character and I put it into my branding, now everybody's going to know my
Yeah.
character. You know what I'm saying? So like the whole sunflower thing, this and that, it was me kind of making it make sense because I knew eventually I'm going to have another show and another show and another show. So it was almost like Mickey Mouse to Walt Disney, where like
That was
when we see
my
Mickey,
video that introduced me to you. When you broke
oh, word up,
down how Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse, that's how we know Walt Disney, but Walt Disney has more than just Mickey Mouse, and how that's your Kai.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's how I was like, yeah, I like this guy. Yeah,
Yeah, word. I
yeah,
appreciate it, man.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
have so much that I like with just like the world building of Walt Disney. So yeah, when in a world of confusion, just tie them together somehow. Um, I think eventually it'll make sense. The world wants us to show up doing the same thing every time we're seen, and I like challenging that as much as I can, but I'll separate it a little bit, but
Yeah, make
you
it
know,
more digestible.
yeah, for the people that came here just for that, here you go. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's
I think I
important to
can
be
learn
able to
from
do
that.
both.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to start doing that as well. I don't know when,
Yeah,
but that's it's a focus of mine currently. But
word. Yeah,
let's talk
yeah,
about you for a second, bro, because maybe
yeah.
your people know and they understand because they follow you, right?
Mm,
But I appreciate being interviewed, so I want to like give that back just a little bit. You said
word.
you started this in middle school, the calligraphy, the
Yeah,
graffiti, and learning how to brand without understanding that's what you were learning,
right.
right? So if that's what you're doing in middle school, how is what you're doing at high school different? Like, did you evolve into maybe start using digital artifacts into your work, or when did you start
Um,
becoming more of a digital artist?
yeah, I didn't have the resources to learn what I was trying to do at that time. So
Okay,
in high school, I was taking art classes, but they were teaching us how to do still lives and you know, paper towel roll paintings and you know,
yeah,
but when we did get to talk about depth and value and I was like, oh, so like how I do the shades in my letters and graffiti, that's what y'all talking about? Oh, okay, cool, I got you.
I'll listen.
Oh, and they're like, yeah, such and such lights and shadows. And I'm like, oh, okay, so like how I cast the shadows on the other letters when you're putting the word together. So that's how I kind of started figuring that out. Um, I went to college thinking, because I was inspired to make shirts. So I went to college thinking I was going to learn how to be like a great illustrator. But they taught me how to do like everything except make shirts.
That's annoying.
So everything's been just one chapter leading to the other for me.
Stepping
So
stones,
basically
yeah,
now it's just like literally all of those chapters just together.
yeah. I love it like that, man. It's like I don't know who said it, but they're like, you can't connect the dots looking forward, only backwards can you connect the dots. You know, and then you realize, yo,
Yeah,
all of this was not happening to me, it was happening for me.
right.
Damn, I'm thankful as hell. Thank you.
Yeah, so uh I like to be a little cryptic. So like a lot of the things that I do have hidden messages in it. So like Return of the Flower is a play off of that fact that it's a flower, yeah, but it's a play off of myself getting back to my roots figuratively, spiritually, artistically. I was just like always doing client stuff, and I finally got a chance to do passion projects. But I had no inspiration left because I was always doing client projects. Whenever I draw something, it was for somebody else.
Yeah.
When I needed to draw something for me, I drew a blank. Um, so I went with the flower because at the time I was being known for the flower from the music videos I was directing and stuff like that. So I was like, well, shoot, they already familiarized me with the flower. I'm gonna turn it into a character, and then so yeah, like everything's a metaphor. You know what I'm saying? So that way, when I look back at stuff, I get to laugh to myself because I know why it's there like that.
One, I love that. Two, maybe someone here knows the answer to this, but I don't. So I have to ask you, why are you drawn to these flowers?
Oh,
I know there's a reason.
yeah, yeah. Um, so um, how can I say? All right, so like at the time when I was like, all right, I'm gonna just draw a character out of the flower. Um, I was pulling more metaphors to give it more depth. And I was like, oh, okay, I can write a story about this character, but not just like a cute little story about a flower, but what if the petals of the flower are almost like hair in the anime series? So like what if like when Goku and them go Super Saiyan and their hair flares up, what if the petals of the flower flare up like that?
Okay.
Okay, cool. What enemies could I have in this show? Okay. Then I'm learning about all the different things that attack flowers and the things that the flowers need to grow and what kind of climates do different flowers come from. And all the flowers I've been studying remind me of black people. So like roses are native. Oh, I mean, eventually they ended up having being in different countries, but like a lot of roses had started in, I believe it was Asia, and then they took the seeds and took them across the seas or whatever and started planting roses in other countries. And there's people who have gardens of mixed flowers that they just got from other places.
Yeah.
And so I've been giving the flowers empathy, and I was like, how can I take a flower and make it feel like a character without making it feel like a Pokemon? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like there's this like more humanoid. Like I like some of that stuff, but I wanted it to look like off first glance, oh, these are cute flowers. Because low key, I'm talking about Black history. Low key, I'm talking about Black culture, healing. You know what I'm saying? So as I've been learning a lot about the flowers, the way that they develop, the way that they're crafted, it's been teaching me a lot about myself, a lot about Black people.
Wow.
And yeah.
I didn't even know. I had no idea.
Yeah.
See, that's my favorite thing about animation, or just people who are really into their craft. You get to watch it and accidentally learn something. Being educated, well, you're being entertained and educated subconsciously. You know, you're putting the medicine in the candy. I love that. You know what you made me think of, bro? You know what that made me think of? Like, you're just talking about different characters and different environments, you know, their origin. Make me think of like a flower, a rose, some type of flower that grew from the concrete. You know how we all heard about concrete rose, or some type of flower that grows through the crack of a concrete. What would he be like? You know, maybe he's like kind of depressed, like he's the sad boy of the show. He don't even know how strong he is. No other flowers are able to grow where he or she has grown.
Right.
You know, and he's alone, looking at all the garden across the street, like, you feel me? And it's like, yo, he could be so interesting, yo. I would love to help play that character if you ever do.
Yo, I would love that, yo.
Yeah, because, yo, I really do be on my sad boy shit sometimes, man. I would love to play that character. Yeah.
Hey, yo,
that's cool.
Yo.
Yeah.
Guys, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've been really enjoying, being able, like, when I write for the characters, my characters are a slice of life. So, like, the sunflower and the rose are two of my main characters because they represent the duality of a Black man. So, like, when you growing up, especially as a creator, you just want to be free and make friends with everybody. And you know, sometimes people cool with it. Sometimes, you know, you end up oversharing, right? Or, you know, being the guy that's bubbly, or, you know, and then sometimes you be in a situation where you want to be the cold, hard nigga, right? And that's when you got to show off your thorns a little bit. You got to be more like the rose, you know? But then, it's almost like, as a Black man, like, you're taught to be like a gentleman, but then, like, the world tells you that you need to be a hood nigga to survive socially. So they kind of represent that duality. So, like, sometimes they learn from one another, but low key, like, the rose is jealous of the sunflower because everybody loves sunflowers. You know what I'm saying?
My mom loves sunflowers, yeah.
But everybody loves sunflowers almost platonically, while they love roses more romantically.
Yeah.
So the sunflower is jealous of the rose because of the type of energy that it receives. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so I get a chance to give us a little bit of a slice of life when I create my characters. So when you're talking about like having like the sad character, like those things come from real places. Like, you know, like think about the flowers the roses or the plants that don't get water the way they need to.
Yeah. He need water.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what, man? This is a whole universe you're really creating piece by piece. It's beautiful. I'm excited to check it out later.
I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
more with this, like putting more of the context out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I designed it in a way to make it look like, off first glance, it just looks like I'm drawing flowers, because that's how I kind of hide the medicine and the candy, and I can, like, the schools will love it,
Ooh.
and I get past the whole DEI and, or whatever they're trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
I slide right past that through the front door with my pretty little flowers.
Yeah.
And then, I have scenes where, like, the flower has been taken away from his homeland, and it's lost its memory, it's lost its vibrancy, just like black people from the East Atlantic slave trade. But I do it in a way that, if, like, someone's watching this with their kid, and the kid's like, oh, the character's screaming Sankofa!
Wow.
And then the parents are like, Sankofa, that means, like, it's not taboo to go back to what was left behind. It's an African proverb. It becomes a teaching lesson amongst everybody. But off surface level, it just looks like a cool ass anime about flowers.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yo, did you teach yourself all of this on your own? All the different backgrounds of the flowers? You just went and did your own research?
Yeah, I did a combination of just, like, picking people's brains, picking ChatGPT brain,
Okay. Okay. All right. And then with
documentaries.
the flower knowledge, did you also take classes in college about African history, or was that your own research as well?
Uh, um, that's God, bro. Not gonna hold you. Um, since I've been pursuing a career in art, I've just been finding myself in spaces that I could not have imagined of being. And, like, at the time, it was just prime time when I started doing all of this, because then I started, like, learning about, like, hoodoo and other Black and African cultures and traditions. And being in those spaces, you learn a lot from basically the source. I'm talking to a lot of Africans and a lot of Gullah Geechee natives, and it it gives me that cultural background about who I am, and I just make it art at that point. But I think school just kind of taught me how to make things digestible. But I didn't even take, like, African American studies. I just,
No.
I just kind of knew how to take uh, a plant fact and expand on that, because I've been studying propaganda, just because, like, racism is kind
Mm.
of, like, clever to me. I
Yeah.
always thought that racism was clever. I was like, yo, you mean to tell me like, we loved this cartoon, but low key it's racist? Like,
Yeah.
animation's
Subconsciously, it's
hard.
telling me what black people act and be like.
Yeah, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
100%.
you know how much talent you have to have to, like, you have to be so good at animating that you had extra time to make it racist.
You're funny. Yeah. 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 It
Like,
is. It is real devilish, but there's something in there that if you learn, you could use that power for good, for sure.
yeah. So I've always had a passion for hiding things in plain sight. You know.
Cool.
So, like, Kai, the flower, that's my Courage the Cowardly Dog, because
Love that show,
Kai
bro.
means happiness, but his story takes him through a lot of things that are not happy. You know. Yeah.
Kudos to that. Kudos to that.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Art of Daniel Green. I'm turning that into, like, more of a network where I could have my own original content. That was, like, my first baby, I guess. So I'm looking forward to having, like, other franchises that I build.
All right. Well, I'll ask you this then. Do you have any advice for someone like me, or maybe someone in the chat, who wants to start a new page, a new channel, a new venture, where they're not the face of the product any longer? They want to just actually birth a creation into the earth, and then if people like it, then they could come find a creator. Making a page like that, do you have any advice on, you know, how to let it grow, how to not get cold feet in the midst of growing it, and then just return back to putting everything on your own page? Like, walk
Yeah.
me through that a little bit, because
Yeah.
it feels like a lot.
So, first of all, it's going to feel really good when you start promoting and sharing to this new, like, condensed page. because whatever is in your mind when you post on your regular page, those people aren't even there. So you're forced to be authentic, and you're forced to not care because they're not going to care anyway. So when you're on this other world, it's almost like um, clocking out of your regular day to day. You over here, you get to start this other channel, this other show universe from scratch. You
Yeah.
know, so it's going to be cool just to be able to just nobody understands it anyway. So do whatever you want to do, and then eventually people will fall in love with the fact that they can tell it's coming from a real place, even if they don't understand your context. If they can understand your journey of making this vision a reality, that's what they're going to fall in love with the most. You know, like
Cool.
if you want to go faceless, you know, there's still ways that you can do that and give people a reason to be connected to it. Um, but yeah, definitely just have the audience in mind. You know, like you you come from a real place when you express feelings and emotions, excuse me, through your art, and that's a very strong foundation just when it comes to getting people to gravitate towards what you're doing. Because like I was saying before, the way you render your work, like it looks cool, but people really appreciate the reason why you're doing the work. You know.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Thank you for that.
yeah.
And everything I've ever posted, I'm proud of. I'm cool with it. But it's all been homework assignments, right? For like I said, I'll finish a course because I'm in YouTube University right
Mm-hmm.
now. But like, damn, okay, how could I make sure that I understood how to use smoke simulations? All right, let me make an animation about something where a smoke simulation could be relevant. I haven't been able to just make something just from my corazon. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, animation wise, my project because is a pure passion project.
For
I was saying stuff where I overshared like crazy, and
for sure.
yeah, that's what I want to do with my art, bro. Like what Kid Cudi did for me with his music, I want to do with my art, but with film. I feel like
Yeah, absolutely.
music is it could be a real nurturing art form because you just have to listen and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But film is a combination of all those mediums, so I don't see
Right.
why you can't do the same thing with that too. I just want to make people feel good, bro, less alienated, because I be feeling like that flower in the concrete a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
As
but
artists, man, we be in our shadows creating and you know people
literally in the
don't.
corner. Yeah, 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 yeah. So you're not lying.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. Like artists, we are oftentimes the most like friendliest people because we only seek to be understood, bro. So like a lot of the times we come from a very down to earth perspective, but we're also very intellectual. We look at the world and it's always in a deep fashion. We can't just be satisfied with surface level, you know. But because of all of that, we know that there's not a lot of regular people who can understand where we're coming from, and that's what makes us more comfortable when we work in like the shadows and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But when you allow people to come into our world, that's why I like stories.
love it.
And I can control what you see and how you see it. You know what I'm saying? You're in my domain now. You
Yeah,
know, so
yeah,
so as artists, we get more comfortable when we are able to bring people into our domain instead of going out into the world and having to mold ourselves to feel like we fit into spaces. We oftentimes like, bro, like if you give people a chance to get to know you, they'll fall in love with you. I promise. You know. Yeah, that's my message to artists, bro.
I'm excited for you to return, bro. I don't even just so everybody knows. This is the first time I've ever spoken to this man, not in person, but kind of. You get what I'm
For sure.
saying? Like barely have DM'd, right? Just a little bit, very poquito. So this is the first time, and I'm excited for your future, man. Very excited for your future.
I appreciate it, man. Likewise to you, bro. I definitely gonna check out the Believe joint. 'Cause like I said,
Uh,
like
because
my fault
yeah,
because
yeah,
but
yeah,
uh I was telling you that it adds a whole lot of value when we can understand why people are creating that way that they're creating. So the way that you were breaking down your story makes me look at your work a lot different. You know, before I liked your work because it was unique, it was playful, and you know, you play with the different levels of articulation. You know, sometimes you like I love like in the meow joint when the crowd is jumping in their heads like
yeah, 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 yeah.
right, but understanding who you are more as a person, like it puts a lot of context behind the screen, you know. So I definitely look forward to just like seeing you share more of just like your why. You know what I'm
Yeah, wow.
saying?
Yeah, me too. Thank you. In
Absolutely.
due time,
Yeah. 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 It takes time.
you
Yeah.
know. So if anybody is here, you don't see me after a while. That's just what it's gonna have to be, because I've been studying in my room for 3 years. I peeked my head out the door this year just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Got sucked into rap. Got sucked into all this different stuff, which I'm grateful
Yeah.
for. Awesome. But now it's time to get back in my corner, bro. It's time to get back in my room and
Yeah. Lock in.
leave my phone on D&D.
Lock in. Lock
Yeah,
in.
it's
Yeah.
time.
I'm gonna always keep my eyes peeled, bro. Like I know how it is. We like to lock in and then pop out, but
Yeah.
you know, continue to at least plant seeds. You
Mm,
know, give us some
mm.
breadcrumbs. You know what I'm saying? Because just like how you was talking about before, like when I was like, yo, it's like it takes courage to be able to push your vision the way you do, and you're like, nah, man, because if I didn't do that, I probably would have been a police officer. So like being able to look back and be like, bro, like because I started, I'm here now.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to have that same reflection again as long as you continue to plant seeds. You know?
Amen. Amen.
Word up. But no, man, no,
Man,
I always respect everything you do, bro.
thank you.
And it's great to be able to connect with you in whatever fashion. Hey, if we have a chance to do it in person, I'm going to definitely make it happen too, for sure.
Let me know when you come to LA.
Absolutely.
Yes. And wait,
There's
and you're
so many
in
things that we got to
Charleston,
do,
right?
bro.
Charleston?
Charleston, yeah, Charleston, South
Okay.
Carolina. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, cool, cool, cool. All right, so I'll do likewise. You know what I'm saying? This has been a dope, really dope interview slash conversation
Yeah,
slash mini therapy session.
yeah.
Um, and
Yeah, yeah.
I feel the end is near, so I'll practice the punctuality again. And I'll say shout out to everybody here that, stayed with the conversation, pop in and out. I appreciate it. You're awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Trust me. And yeah, man, I'm just grateful to be a part of the timeline.
Word. You're talking about punctuality, and I'm like, bro, this is the time where I open the floor to questions.
Oh, even better,
So,
way better, way better. Let's
yeah.
do that.
So, like, yeah. So, anybody, you have any other questions that y'all want to hear from for either of us, or something I want to chime in on?
That's cool, man. You have a pretty cool community, very supportive and positive.
Yeah, bro. You know, like we all in this together, bro. Like at the end of the day, we all trying to create something for ourselves. So yeah. Any
Someone in
questions?
here, someone in here said my flowers should be a dandelion. I don't know how I feel about that, but I think it could be cool. Let me tell you why. Like
Okay.
the dandelion is like, I feel like they blow away so easily, but maybe that could be really cool. So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Um.
Zell said if you storyboard. Do you storyboard, Daniel?
Yeah. So another thing, bro. For my client projects, I storyboard all the time.
Mm.
Um. And so like for my own personal projects, I find that I do a little bit of this and that. like for instance, for this project here, I started doing like frames at a time, but then I was like, bro, I want to foreshadow stuff. So I need to write everything so I know what I want to foreshadow at the time. So I took a break from that, from like the storyboarding process, so I can do like my plot outlines and my dialogue and all of that. So when I get back to doing like the storyboard that I do for my own project, instead of doing it full color like I started off, I would just do it black and white so I can do the comic, and that's going to be my storyboard because it's the same thing. But if I put a storyboard out in a tangible form to the world, they see that as a comic book, no matter if it's messy or not. So, like for when it comes to like music videos, commercials, stuff like that, I do a lot of storyboarding with that. A lot of the times, I'll draw every shot that I want for the video, and then I'll color that in, and then I'll make a music video with like 2D graphics. And when you play that to the song, it's essentially an animated music video. That's how I present my treatments to my clients. So I'm really just trying to find ways to do that type of stuff for myself.
Tight. Like frame by frame drawings, right? Over it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got. How did you learn from the experience? Which experience? How did you learn from the experience, and how did you improve from it?
Um,
I guess.
okay. Which experience do you think? I'm looking at what's a good structure for making curriculum.
What's
I
a
feel
good
like if
structure?
you,
Oh, okay.
I think if
Yeah. I want to hear your input first.
I think if you're teaching yourself something, you're gonna want to go towards what you're interested in, and most people might give you that advice. But depending on what you want to learn, I would just start watching tutorials based on what that thing is. Maybe it's a software. That's where I could give you the most advice if you're trying to learn software to help you communicate your ideas. If you have a better overview of what the software can do, you don't have to know what buttons do what just yet. You just have to understand if and how this software could help you explain yourself. And then after you get a broad overview of just like watching a couple tutorials, understanding what's possible, then you could dial in and like actually learn like, okay, I want to learn modeling and I want to learn rigging, animation, and I don't care about lighting, I don't care about materials, I don't care about rendering. Like, that's not what I'm focused on. I just want to dial in on these things. So it's kind of like just wide lens, and then go ahead and get your 50 millimeter. You know what I'm saying? And just like focus in on what makes you just not be able to sleep.
Right. I think it's important to learn your vocabulary. That's what helps you know what to study.
Yeah.
You know, like if you jump right into YouTube, I'm thankful I went to college first, because when like I went to school for like graphic design, so I learned like typography and all of that. But when I was learning like video editing and stuff like that, I was on YouTube University.
Word.
But like when I jumped in, everything was, here's 5 music video effects to you to use.
Yes, literally, yeah. Only 5. Yeah.
You know, everything was like, here's transitions, here's some LUTs, this and that.
Download my pack.
Bro, yes, the
$10.
The packs and the plugins and, you know. So it was important to know, like, jumping into it, knowing what the chapters were for you to look out for. So like how you was talking about lighting, modeling, texturing, you know what I'm saying, camera movement. Those are all things that you can find a plethora of videos on just that topic.
Yeah.
And that's how you're able to learn on your own. Don't just go in trying to do a bunch of tutorials. Like, it's going to help you get familiar with moving throughout the space of the software and finding something over here, then over there. That's going to be good, but you definitely just got to know what you want to be learning so that you can apply what you're learning to something that's abstract. Otherwise, you'll be pigeonholed to only being able to do certain things in that scenario. you know.
Word. Yeah. And you know what? DJ Dope D, maybe a more modern answer to that. Yo, download ChatGPT and learn how to communicate it with it. Communicate with it, because you could tailor ChatGPT to give you the information that you need from the internet, so you don't have to just go through pages and pages of Google. Like, it really is a tool to help you learn quicker than ever before. Yeah, it's here for
Yeah.
you. It's here for you.
Yeah, you can yeah. Ask ChatGPT to just create the curriculum, give you all the vocabulary or
The
whatever, and you're
filter.
good.
Yeah.
Victoria says vocabulary is a great entry point to developing expertise. You gotta speak the
You
language.
know what
Facts.
I'm saying? Yeah. Understand the vernacular.
A word.
Yeah.
A word
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, you get it. You get it. Let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
What else we got? This is so cool. You have people in here. Um,
You know, hey.
yeah. I'm reading right now. What is a passion project that you had a chance to work on that didn't go how you expected it would?
Mm,
Well, yeah,
okay.
I guess because was the passion project that I kind of figured it would just live and die on Instagram, but I always figured I would turn it into like a feature. It's long. It's as long as a feature film. It's like 12 different carousels, which have 10 different videos installed in each post, and all together
Okay.
it creates like one picture. That I really wish I would have made it a little bit more simple, but it is underneath the title a quarter life crisis caught on camera. So it's like it
Mm.
looks like that. It is pretty hectic. And to answer your question, I kind of thought that I would make it and I would make it a feature film and like bring it to festivals. But then it just kind of once I put it out, it's not that I lost interest. I just found animation and I realized there's a new way I can make movies, and I kind of put all of that on pause. But eventually I'll turn it into like a feature you could watch on YouTube for free.
Word up.
What about you?
Passion project that didn't turn out the way I thought.
Yeah.
The first one was called a feature presentation. That's something now I'm gonna bring back around soon. But at the time when I created it, the only thing like it was called Colors, which is a platform on YouTube where artists would sing their song to a multicam or
Yeah.
whatever. And so I was like, yo, I wanted to kind of create my own version of that, and it did really good. But while most people they dub the music over, I was like, I'm gonna have it so that we record the audio live because I like that. I like the way people raw vocal sound on the track. So I'm like, okay, cool. um, I learned that my workflow wasn't streamlined,
Mm.
so it ended up like uh, delaying my process, and by then I had client work to do, and so I, it's kind of fell to the wayside. But now you see they got the hanging mic videos all over the world now. That's like the new
Yeah.
thing. But when I did this was like 2019,
Mm.
So had
Wow.
I just went ahead and went through with it, it would have been great. So that's why I'm acting on my ideas more now.
Yeah. Yeah, that stings a little bit for sure. That's how I feel about YouTube, bro. I was on YouTube in middle school, and it's like, I don't know, I got locked out of my account, and I just stopped making YouTube videos. But it's all good. I'm still alive.
Yeah, bro. Like the fact that you even started, like I got mad old stuff that for some reason I'm sure it'll be referenced in somehow. Like
The vault.
yeah, like you don't ever really like. I was in a podcast before, and the question came up like, does an artist ever retire? And it's like,
Mm.
if you do it again, it's not retired.
If you do it again, what do you mean?
So, Jay-Z, for instance, he used to talk about how he retired from rap. And
Yeah.
then 5 years later, he'll drop him out an album.
Uh-huh.
So your retirement was not you didn't come out of retirement. That doesn't exist. You just took a break.
Yeah, and called it retirement. Yeah, I get
You
that.
know?
Yeah. And as an artist, do you want to retire? Not really. Maybe you
Right.
want to like not work as hard on certain things, but it's like this is a forever archetype. I don't
Right.
think you'd be an artist and be like, I'm gonna just stop using my left side or right side of the brain. I'm gonna just, I don't know. Like, how do
Yeah.
you turn that off?
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's a natural thing, bro. Dead Rich World 1898. I definitely want to hear from you, man. Like if you try to collab on something, I don't know your discipline, but just the way you comment, I can tell you know what you're talking about. You say we shifted gears into different avenues. That's like, I do a lot of disciplines because sometimes I get burnt out of one discipline, so I definitely relate to that.
100%. Like, if I get kind of sick of animation, I'll start maybe playing around with beats. You know, if that
Mm-hmm.
if that kind of gets like too much of repetitive, I'll try to pick something else up that's relative to making a movie. You
Right,
know?
right, right. Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, it's really refreshing when you're able to just go at creation from a different angle, for sure.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I really enjoy just like the animation process and everything that has to do with it. But can I do that for like a year straight? I'm not
Hmm.
sure. I'm maybe just that year, maybe just those couple years. Like you know how big productions will lock in on a movie for like 4 years.
Yeah.
I can do something like that, but I don't know if I'm about to have 7 different Fast and Furious. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the scary part, man. If it really takes off, it's like, damn, I really just locked myself into this realm. I better learn to be in love with it. Yeah. That's why I'm really glad that I kind of stopped acting when I did, because it was kind of snowballing into something that really could have been beneficial financially. Um, yeah, but it was more than cold feet. It was like, oh no, wait, this isn't the path. And I'm so grateful because oh my God, if I still had to do that, I wouldn't be a happy person. If I had to, if that was like my job.
Right, right. Yeah. Let's see. We got I might not be pronouncing it right, but it's PC at GGI.
What's up, Paul?
Uh, Paul, what up, Paul? He said, describe your ideal audience.
Okay. You
I
wanna
you
you
can
wanna do that first?
Okay. My ideal audience. I go after you've heard of a demographic, which
Yeah.
is how you describe people's age and where they're located and stuff like that. I go after what's called a psychographic. So I target people based off of how they think. Um, so uh, uh, I I'm attracted to passion. So I connect with people who also have um, some type of internal conflict that they're battling when it comes to their creation. So I can relate to a lot of different types of people because I've learned things from different chapters of my life. I've worked at a job that has nothing to do with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've been to school. I've been to YouTube
Yeah.
University. I've had people that didn't believe in me. I'm
Always.
from what a lot of people would consider a small town. Um, I mean, it's not like that small, but like compared to like the hubs in the country, like LA, DC, Atlanta, Charlotte, Charleston. Um, at the time when I was creating, there wasn't a lot of resources. I had to use the internet to find like-minded individuals. And the keywording that I had to do to find those people, I started to make it part of um, my approach. Like eventually you can kind of tell what kind of person you're dealing with. Like if you see somebody with like cool ass socks on, you know you can have a conversation with them. They have cool socks on. Of course they're a cool person. You know, so I like to target people who think similarly. So like it's easier for us to have those conversations because we know each other already. You know what I'm saying? That's how I go about my target audience.
And you call that a cycle demographic.
Yeah, like a psychographic.
That's a really good answer. You know, I haven't really thought about it in that manner, but maybe to piggyback off of your answer a lot, because I like that a lot. You know, when Gary Vee first came out, I feel like he gave a lot of people hope. And if we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about flowers, right? Bamboo, it
Okay.
takes a real
Okay.
long time, right? Just developing underground, right? Where
Right.
no one can really see it. It's just doing its thing. But as soon as it breaches the surface and reaches oxygen, it just sprouts and it has a major growth spurt. And I
Yeah.
kind of feel like that's the direction I'm heading with my life by accident. You know, I in seventh grade I was able to be an extra for this movie American Gangster and Be Kind Rewind. And because
Okay.
of that, I thought I wanted to be famous, thought I wanted to act, thought I wanted all that. But thank God life humbled me and taught me all these different things the way it did because it made me, yo, I'm not built to be out and about all of the time. I really value my peace, especially as I get older. And when I hear Gary Vee's videos, I see a lot of the people that appreciate what he's saying and why they're attracted to what he's saying. As we get older and social media grows, like I'm in my 30s now, and it's like for some weird reason when you hit 30, people think you're gonna die. They're like, you hit 30, you're not rich yet, nigga. Like that's it for you. And
Mm-hmm.
I never really thought like that, but I kind of sort of did. That's why when I was 25, I dropped that project. That's why I was like freaking out. I'm like, I'm gonna live in my car so I could be hyper productive. And I think a lot more people with the growth of social media and just internet fame, they're gonna fall into that trap. And when I think about my ideal audience, I kind of think of Gary Vee's audience, which I guess it is tailored to a age demographic. But when you bring up psycho demographic, it makes me think of okay, well then yeah, that's I love Kid Cudi
Mm.
as a musician because of what he be talking about. So it's
Right.
like age short, but you just put a new gave me some vocabulary to digest and think about when I think of my ideal audience. Of course, I want them to be like minded, but maybe they have some of the same fears I had, and I have to conquer those and show them that it's not only possible, but I'm living proof in order to kind of be that uh, Gary V archetype for that fan base. You know, I gotta be
Absolutely.
a late bloomer, dude.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, bro. You just being authentically about that is you're gonna naturally find your tribe, bro. And you know, we're just gonna connect with each other and the people that we need. You know, like there's gonna be certain gems that those people along the way. That's why I love approaching it from like that kind of a perspective, because the the more real you get with yourself, bro, like you get to connect with people who want to be genuinely interested in what you got going on. Ain't
yeah,
nothing
nah,
better than that, bro.
yeah. I have no time to try to act all cool, like I got everything I want and figured out. Like, nah, like I'm living life with y'all. What y'all talking about? Like this shit is weird. On this floating rock, just talking about, man. But I'm for it though.
You
I'm
know how
for it.
many 30-year-olds are talking about, yeah, man, I'm finally doing this thing I wanted to do. Like, we're the generation of guys that's like, oh yeah, my uncle, he always wanted to be a.
Yeah, yeah. It's true. It's true. Because these possibilities wasn't really available back then. That's why we have this like 30-year-old archetype where it's like once you're this age, this is what you should have. And like as a millennial, I feel like you talk about being not a gatekeeper. We came up with another word, a regulator, a director. We are the generation where we get to show them by example,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks but it doesn't. Like, you get to be the first generation and let them know, like, hey, nah, this is what life is now. And you could change that perspective and what life is to you with your lips at any time.
Mm-hmm.
You could just alter that.
Yeah, I think it's good to be, because like yeah, everyone was gatekeepers when we was coming up, so we
Nah,
get to make
gates are
it
broken.
easier for the next generation.
That's what I want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I got time for maybe a couple more questions. Um, can you speak to how you build and cater to your communities? Oh, that's a good question. So like, what do you do in like offline to build community? Do you like? I saw you at a few of the functions, the conventions, stuff like that. What's it like for you?
Man, I have a lot of musician friends, and they'd be able to go to open mics, and I would tell them on the phone, bro, I'm so jealous that you get to do this, because I don't have that as a filmmaker. I just didn't know my community. So I'm based in LA, and I found a couple, not open mics, but monthly festivals
Okay.
that are made for people like me, yourself, just people who have work that they want to show people. Shout out to Silver Lake. That's one of the festivals I go to out in LA often. They have a festival every month, and they have other festival runners that are there, and they'll, like, you just meet them, like, oh, I have another festival over here, I have another, and then it just kind of snowballs into something that you didn't realize was right in your backyard the entire time, which should be obvious. Me being in LA, that's why I moved here.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't aware. Was all being developed during quarantine, so it's like now all blossoming.
Right. Man,
What
that's
about
gotta be
yourself?
so dope to be able to be like within arm's reach of the most
Yeah,
purest form of your inspiration.
yeah, I love it. I love it. I never had access to that.
Uh, do you feel like there are struggles getting access to certain spaces because of the amount of competition out there?
So far I haven't seen that, not yet. It seems like a lot of venues like booking these type of events because it brings kind of a calm crowd. Animators, filmmakers, they're not so rowdy. Like one or two, like, sometimes I get crazy, but it's like it's somewhat of a predictable crowd as far
Okay.
as um yeah, somewhat of a predictable crowd.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been enjoying going from like event to event and stuff like that. I've been doing really bad about like sharing the things that I should probably be posting about. Like I don't have a lot of experience in film festivals, but
Mm.
like I taught a course at a middle school. I taught the kids how to make their own they make their own film, from like the script, the character development, filming, and that was shared at a film festival a couple months ago. So
Type.
that was really kind of my first like experience, like connecting with other directors and geeking out about stories. And so like where you at, that's just prime time, bro. So like I can see why you like, pimped out the truck and
Yeah. I still
yeah.
have it too. I still have it, but it's not pimped out anymore. It's gutted. So it's
uh,
basically like a coupe SUV.
okay. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
That's an oxymoron. Like,
I
cool.
know, right? It's a big ass two seater.
Word, word up.
Yeah.
So do you feel like that was like the right thing, right time? Like, do you think that there's like benefit to that chapter of your life when you moved into the truck to you know?
It showed me how much I really want everything that I talk about. It's like this might be a little abstract, Something I'm against is like this P. Diddy trial, right? We'll just call that the Illuminati, right?
Okay.
Right? People be selling their souls and doing X, Y, and Z in order to get their dream out there. I've always been on the opposite side of that. Why I wanted to be a cop is like those were the bad guys to me. The people that are fucking up the entertainment industry, by doing all that shit that he be doing in the shadows of Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like I kind of like that was me not selling my soul, but kind of like sacrificing myself for myself. Like I really risked my life moving into my truck in LA. My girlfriend Giselle, she wasn't in she was still in New Jersey. So I was still a single person. And you
Or
know, she was cool with me doing it, which is that was like a major green flag, an indicator that this is a ride or die archetype that I could actually um, give a chance to.
mm-hmm.
But you know, once she came here, I realized I had already did this. She was okay with me doing it, but my truck ended up getting stolen, and I was happy.
Mm.
I was really happy because it's like, okay, I kind of just wanted to show myself that I didn't only want to do this, I need to do this, and I'm gonna do anything under God's umbrella in order to make that happen. And once I did that, and I had love on my side, I was like, okay, this is my gift for actually like spiritually jumping off of a cliff and like just being held, like being caught, like you're gonna be good, like you jumped, you took the leap, that's all you
Yeah.
had to do, now walk with me, you know?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
It made me feel like, oh no, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. I just have to keep moving in faith.
Hey man, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That's
She
beautiful,
knows.
bro.
She knows. She knows, yeah. That was crazy, right? That was wild, baby. What the fuck? We're here now, though. We're here now.
Hell yeah, bro. I love it.
Yeah.
Word. But yeah, hey man, it's been a pleasure, bro.
Absolutely.
Definitely gotta, just connecting however way we see it again. The boy said, turbulent water bring out the. Yeah, I feel like I gotta say that with a Jamaican accent, bro. Like,
Can you do that? You have one of that in your back pocket?
you're like, no, I can't. I'll do it in my own native. But it's like, you're like, turbulent water bring out the biggest growth.
Yeah.
the biggest growth. That's dope.
Growth. Yeah, it's true. It's true, man.
Yeah.
Still growing, though.
Yeah, I'm thankful for the journey. When you look back, like I feel like every celebrity story I followed coming up, they always talked about how they moved to LA with $600. It's always $600 in their account, and then living out the van or the whatever, and then somehow a beautiful story comes out of that.
Yeah.
So like I met some graffiti artists. They came here in Charleston, but they traveled the country in a schoolie, and like it just shifted my perspective, bro. I'm like, if you really want it, you can just go out and just do it, bro. Like, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, kudos to you. Whatever lessons, whatever gems you got from that, I'm sure it's gonna sprout into something unimaginable for you.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. Well, everybody who's been here today, if y'all still here, make sure y'all follow my guy on Instagram. I'm sure at the top you can hit a button and it'll be a little quicker. But yeah, and send me the references you was talking about. I definitely wanted to check out and
And a comic or two. I might send you a comic or two still if you
hey,
down.
bro, we just go back and forth with it, bro. Like,
yeah, we need a laugh. Laughter's important.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. I'm much appreciative. This is my first time doing this, bro. I just wanted to connect with people because like we be on the grams and we be like low key like if we actually met some of the guys that like we like, comment, and share, support each other. I feel like it's gonna be a seamless thing. It doesn't have to be like so much of a this is my podcast or this is such a formal interview. But I'm like, bro, all we gotta do is just go on live together, and it's the same thing, bro. Like,
yeah, yeah. This is a lot more intimate than just DMing each other. I was a little like this before we got online. It's like, oh my god. Yeah. It's still kind of real, like you said.
Yeah. Like I didn't even have a title for this, bro. Like all the good names for podcasts are taken. So I was like, you know what? We're not even going to do nothing formal. Once the name comes naturally, cool. But I just want y'all to show up.
Okay. So you're gonna put this somewhere afterwards? You're gonna
Yeah,
chop it
yeah. So,
up, or
yeah, I want to be able to like pull quotes from what we're saying, and make it shareable content, certain gems that we drop.
absolutely.
Uh, yeah. Once I get better with the technology, I'll be able to upload it to podcast platforms and the whole nine. But I feel like this is something that doesn't take as much energy. Like this is legit a phone call, but we
Yeah.
can download it, repurpose it, have it for shareable content. Take the audio, rip the audio. I got a sound recorder right here. I don't know how it's gonna sound, but
Mm.
I did it just in
Right.
case, and then.
Yeah. I'm so mad the microphone didn't work, man. I had the loop station here. I have an auto tune pedal right here. Man, it's all good though. It's okay. It's okay. I was ready for you though. I was ready for this. It's all good, bro. Maybe next time.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely gotta do it again, man.
Yeah, I'm here.
Word up. Yeah, man. Continue to just be the best version of yourself, man.
Yeah, my
I'll see
word.
you again. Word
Amen,
up.
man. You have a great
Much
one,
love,
bro.
brother.
Peace, peace.
Peace out. Thank you guys for chiming in. And make sure I get your page too, David's World. Let me see. David World 1898. Thank you, Giselle. I gotta get your story next, man. I appreciate y'all, man. So the recap will be on my page. I'm gonna go ahead and post the recap, and then I'll figure out how to make this into content. But I'm about to tap out, y'all. Y'all be easy. Continue to be the best version of yourselves. I appreciate y'all for coming in and riding with us. So y'all be easy, man. Peace.